Assets are what the council actually own. Buildings, land and reserve land. The council knows what it owns, but there's quite a considerable amount of work that needs to be done to get an appropriate list. First, we have to undertake a number of tasks: legal, hazard mapping, government legislation, to name just a few. In order to sell, say, reserve land, firstly it has to be declassified, then we have to go back to the community to seek their input, and then we have to also talk to the Minister of Conservation to seek their approval. They may even say no. The council wanted to see what the appetite of the community was first before we put the time, money and effort into producing a list. If it comes back the community wishes asset sales, we will then begin further work, further consultation and produce a list for the community to see.
So the simple answer is nothing significant this time round. After our last rates review, we looked at everything that we could trim from our budgets and we took it out. And now we're at the point where we're as lean as we possibly can. To double check that, we are doing reviews in both parks and reserves and also arts and heritage, as these are spaces that we heard from the consultation period last time needed to be areas that we looked at. So we'll have professionals come in and tell us whether we're spending our money the most efficiently we possibly can. There have been small measures that have been taken, like maybe cutting a uniform budget here or a travel budget there, but these are really minuscule and don't have a huge overall impact on the rates increase. So that really only leaves us with two options to bring the rates down. Either we debt fund our operations to smooth out rates over the long term, or we cut services. And as you'll find in this consultation document, both of these options are being put to the community so they can help us make the big decisions. So two answers here. The first one is that when that 5% cap was set with the previous council, there was a very different economic situation on our hands. So as we've seen with the economy, inflation's gone through the roof, and so a 5% increase simply isn't realistic anymore. I wish it was. As for why we don't stick to inflation, which is around I think 3% at the moment, local government pressures are very different to what you and me might buy at the supermarket. Councils don't buy bananas and bread, we buy pipes or bridges or concrete or asphalt or you name it, very, very different things. So for example, over the last couple of years, bridges have gone up 38%, sewage systems have gone up 30%, and water supply systems have gone up 27%. So as you can see, a lot higher than the rate of inflation. So no rate increase isn't an option, and I wish it was, trust me, because costs go up. I mean, you look at all sorts of different costs that have gone up, whether it's insurance, whether it's the price of groceries, whether it's electricity. You know, council has to absorb those costs as well, so they're going to go up too. The other difficulty that we're dealing with at council is that when high inflationary periods did happen, such as in 2022, there was inflation was around 7%. Now, the council at the time only put up rates by 3%. So as you can imagine, we're playing a bit of catch up at the moment to get back to where we need to be. And unfortunately, that means higher rate increases for all of us.
So the costs for each event are relatively small, and that's because we do quite a lot of fundraising and get external funding from other people, and we're reasonably successful at doing that. The issue we've got with running only one event is that we need the same amount of staff to run that one event as we do to run all 6. So to run just the Santa Parade, the best option to do that would most likely be to bring in an external contractor. The costs for that are likely to be the similar costs to employing someone full-time for a year to run all 6 events. So submissions close on Friday the 2nd of May. This time around we've tried to give people multiple options in terms of how they can submit. So we're happy for you to send us an email, contact us on Facebook, or you can drop off a physical submission to one of our libraries or our council building. Yes, you do. It's a legal part of the process, but all other personal information does remain confidential.